Hello, everyone. Welcome to our episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers, and joining me to talk about NFL draft prospect Jatavion Sanders, the tight end coming out of Texas. As always, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. How you doing this afternoon, Vincent?
How you doing, talented Mr. Logan Landers?
I am doing great, sir. Excited to talk about this young man coming out of Texas. Hook 'em horns. Guys, if you enjoy this video, give us a like, follow, share, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss a single piece of content we're putting out. Tons and tons of videos per week. Over 10, that's guaranteed. And like I said, draft season is officially underway. A time where all of us are excited to talk about these prospects, which teams we think they'll go to, what we like about them, and just so much more. It's always a fun time here at 100 Yards of Football. But guys, let's go ahead and get into it, Vincent. Let's talk about this young guy, Jatavion Sanders, tight end coming out of Texas. Looking at the young man, this past season, he caught 45 catches for 682 yards, had 2 touchdowns, but in 2022 had a solid year there as well. 5 touchdowns, 613, and 54 grabs. Now, you look at his build, 6'4", 243. We're seeing that, Vincent, and with how football's changed over the years, this seemed like this is how the next wave, we'll say, of tight ends is going to go. You're not going to get those big guys, the Mark Andrews, the Travis Kelce's. We're not seeing those. We still have those, obviously, but we're getting some slimmer tight ends now. Obviously, with Sanders here on the screen, and as we all know, in the Metro Atlanta area, Kyle Pitts is kind of the one who a lot of people are going to point and look at as the one who's been revolutionizing the way that position is played. Jatavion Sanders could be the next man up. Let's talk about him, what we like. And as I mentioned, the stats, Texas had a really good year this past year. We know what all they did, had a really good quarterback room, receiving room, and Jatavion Sanders was a big, big part of that. Now let's talk about his strengths, what we like about this guy. As we know, he's a former 5-star recruit coming out of Denton Ryan High School out there in Texas, and he was an All-American there, had a lot of hype around him, and at Texas, he was a solid player. I mean, it's just unfortunate because you mentioned the stats, but he had some elite wide receivers around him, so he was kind of playing third fiddle with A.D. Mitchell, with Xavier Worthy. Jatavion Sanders kind of just got forgot about in some sense of the words, but we're here to do that, Vincent. We're here to shine some light on this man who and for some teams who need a tight end coming into this draft. Now, what I like about this guy is he is a great blocker. He's not gonna get pushed over, and that's the thing I like about with tight ends because we mention it, whether it's just me and you, whether it's Daniel Kelly from NFL Draft Scout coming on. We talk about you have to be not the perfect player, but you have to cover all aspects of the game. And especially as a tight end, you're not just out there catching ball and getting first downs and whatnot. You have to be an efficient blocker. And with Jatavion Sanders, if you watch him play, he is going to get out there. He's going to take those good angles. He is going to get his hands up, and he is going to block at will. So I like that in a tight end personally. Looking at his abilities as a pass catcher, he's got soft hands. I mean, he's not a guy who's got those brick wall hands. He plays it very easy whenever he's going to the ball. He makes it look fluid. He's a really good athlete. I mean, he's got some blazing fast speed. Vince, it would surprise me if he's got some faster speed than some of the wide receivers. We'll find that out in the next week with the combine. In the post routes, as we know, a staple for a lot of tight ends, especially in the NFL and in college. Well, it's a screen game. This guy is someone who could be revolutionary, and I mentioned that with Kyle Pitts. I'll use it here again because of that great speed. Kyle Pitts is tremendous. We love him in Atlanta, but I think Jatavion might have him beat with the speed of just a little bit. He's elusive. He can get things going, and I think that just in terms of straight line speed, just if you put this guy on a streak, Vincent, I mean, he's going to blow past a lot of linebackers and potentially some corners and safeties. It's going to be interesting to see. But I think that when you see this guy, that you're going to get a guy with some good hands who's going to block, who's got blazing fast speed. I mean, he's got some great potential. And it's just a shame that he kind of went under the radar because of all the other elite Texas talent that has been produced this past year. Jatavion Sanders was an elite tight end who's got all of the traits to make it work at the next level. I think that he's got a tremendous set of tools and a tremendous player. As we know, he was a first team All Big 12 in 2022, as well as a Mackey Award semifinalist. So I think this young man has a ton of potential. What's your thoughts on Jatavion Sanders, Texas tight end?
Well, when you look at Mr. Sanders, you think about vertical. You think about David Crockett and the Alamo, the state of Texas, the freedom that they got in the 1840s and 1850s, because this gentleman right here is an explosive football player, man. He puts me in the mind of Keith Jackson that played at Oklahoma, Logan. And remember, Keith Jackson at that time played in the wishbone offense, but if you look at all the passes he caught during his time in Oklahoma, all of them were vertical throws. Then he got a little bit of John Mackey, who played at Syracuse. They ended up being a Hall of Famer with the Baltimore Colts / Indianapolis Colts. Then, when you look at Mr. Sanders and you brought up his build, don't he remind you, Logan, a little bit of Kyle Pitts?
Yes, sir.
With that same type of ability?
Yes, sir. No question.
And then when you say he was squeezed in two potential, maybe first-round receivers, and A. Mitchell and Mr. Xavier Worthy, the gentleman still put up 99 receptions, 1,295 yards, 13 yards a catch, 7 touchdowns in his 3-year career at Georgia. But what I like about him most of all, and you can go look at all the reports on him, he got super, super soft hands, which I give a grade of an AA+. What does that mean? The man from the state of Texas doesn't drop any passes. And finally, when you look at a guy his size, he's going to be able to stretch whatever team drafts is going to be able to stretch their field vertically. But he's got that outstanding, I call that neighborhood talk, that stop-start ability. Boom, I can stop. Boom, I can explode. Boom, I'm by you. This gentleman right here is going to represent the eyes of Texas at the next level at the tight end position. Mr. Jatavion Sanders. Thank you. I'm going to be very excited to see him play football.
Yes, sir. And obviously we're gonna see the comparisons from now until the time he gets drafted. Do we have Kyle Pitts 2.0 on our hands? It remains to be seen how it's going to translate to the next level. But like we've been saying, this guy has all the talent and ability to do so. Guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe. Of course, you don't miss a single bit of content. We're talking about very heavy draft. We're talking anywhere from quarterbacks to receivers. On the defensive side as well, we are covering as many players as possible leading up to draft day. So be sure to turn on notifications as well so you don't miss a single upload. For Mr. Football, Vincent Turner, I've been your host, Logan Landers. Guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again on another live episode.